sure we have it.
I guess I'm a little crazy.
All right, it's 7 o'clock. I call this regular city council meeting to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. Clerk, please call the roll. And Alderman, please use your microphones because I don't want to get nasty grams from people who can't hear.
Alderwoman Haderlein.
Present.
Platt-Miller.
Present.
Lavallee.
Here.
Hoeflich.
Present.
Lancaster.
Here.
Kriete.
Here.
Perkins.
Present.
Leone. Quorum is present.
All right, we have a quorum present. Alderwoman Rosa is going to attend electronically, so we're going to give her a call. I dial the right number.
Hello.
Good evening, Alderwoman Lorena. We are admitting you into the meeting electronically in accordance with Section 2.05.H.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you for joining the meeting. At this time, we open up the floor for public comment. Is there any item that is not on the agenda that someone wishes to address the council about? Yes, sir. Please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Carl Hopper. I live at 333 Road in Harvard. And the first issue that I'd like to bring up is the intersection of Marengo Road and 170. On the southwest corner, there's debris that grows up along the side of the highway there. And so when you pull up to the intersection, I'm going to pass out these photos. Take one and pass them around. That's a picture if you're stopped at the stop sign, at the stop line, at that intersection coming from the south heading north. And as you look to the west, you can't see but maybe 50 yards without pulling out into the intersection. I've brought this up to the previous city administrator 3 times and was told it would be addressed starting last fall. I contacted Mr. Smith, our county board representative, and he said it wasn't the county's responsibility. I reached out to the office of our state district representative, and that was last fall. I don't remember if I received a response from him or not, but regardless, nothing's been done with that, and it's just a matter of time before we have a substantial accident there that causes severe injury to someone. Motorcyclist coming down from the west doesn't stand much of a chance if you get a creep out in there on the roadside side of the road. And I know somebody had mentioned to me that they almost hit bicyclists coming from the west there. And then at this time of the day, as the sun sets, it's even more difficult to see that direction. So I'm bringing it to the council. See if you guys can get some assistance here and get this taken care of before we have a major accident there. I don't know if you guys have any questions of me, or I think you all know what I'm talking about. So,
Mayor, do we need a resolution the next city council or something, just direct staff to contact state, because that state's right away.
Staff has already done so.
Okay.
The state has it listed on a list to be
I know it
accomplished.
gets trimmed back once in a while, but it's every year that has to be done.
I understand that. Staff has contacted
Okay.
them very recently about this issue.
Is there a way that the city can, I know that the state issues grants, or not grants, probably not the right word, permission for you guys to take care of it, and then they compensate you, $100 or whatever. I mean, it's not the money, I don't think that's the issue here. It's the fact that it needs to be taken care of in a timely manner.
I think the issue is we don't really have the right equipment to get down into along the side of the creek
We
there.
got chainsaws, right?
So, at the end of the day, it's the state's responsibilities, not the city's, and for the city to do it without states saying
Well, that's
yes
what I'm
to do
asking.
it.
Can you get an
We
agreement
can
with
we
them?
can we can broach that
Get
with
it
them and
taken
see
care of.
and see if there's a possibility of having IGA.
So, and that's one topic. The other is now that we have a new council seated, we are spending millions of dollars or upwards of $1 million on sidewalks. I'm asking that you guys have a committee on the agenda at some point, be addressing shoveling these sidewalks. If we're going to spend all this taxpayer money to improve them, let's make it so people can actually use them. Thank you.
I thought you had 3 items.
Well, that's on here.
Oh, fair enough. All right, we'll wait
know
till
how it goes.
that item. All right, thank you. Anyone else care to wish address council? Hearing none, then we will move on to item number 5A through 5L. Are there any items on the consent agenda that council wishes to remove from the consent agenda?
Thank you.
Alderwoman Luna, did you have something you wanted to remove?
No, I have nothing.
Okay,
Looks good.
5L, please.
5L, all right. Any other items? Hearing none, I'll accept the motion to approve the consent agenda items 5A through 5K as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda, items 5A through 5K as presented. I'll second it.
Have a motion by Haderlein, second by Lancaster. Any other comments or questions here? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Alderwoman Platt-Miller,
Aye.
Lavallee.
Aye.
Hoeflich. Lancaster,
Aye.
Kriete.
Aye.
Perkins,
Yes.
Luna,
Yes,
Haderlein.
Yes.
All ayes.
All right. Item number 6 is now previously 5L, approval of Park Board's recommendation to appoint Joseph Panita to the Parks and Recreation Board.
So the reason why I pulled 5L, because I wasn't able to attend that meeting. Was that last Monday, right?
That's correct.
Okay, I did listen to it later on. My concern, which I'll bring up on another line item as well, is when Parks Committee members ask questions, my concern was that, there wasn't much emphasized on maintenance of the current parks. It was more about programming. We passed a referendum 7 years ago, maybe 8 years ago, to fund the maintenance of the parks. My biggest thing, and when I started this council 6 years ago, I was on the Parks Committee, and my biggest thing was, let's maintain everything and then once that's maintained, and then whatever revenue we have left over, then we can start adding on. So for you as appointment, because I know you're going to be appointed tonight, is to make sure there's other parks besides a couple ones that only get mentioned every single time. There's many. And we have a lot of land, parkland, that is not utilized enough. So that's the only reason why I'm thinking, but I make a motion to appoint Joseph Pinente, is that how you pronounce it? Pienta?
Okay, thank you. You have a motion to appoint Joseph Pienta to the Parks and Recreation Committee. Do I have- You second it? All right, so we have a motion by Perkins, second by Hoeflich. Any other comments or questions here? Hearing none, clerk call the roll.
Alderwoman Platt-Miller,
Yes.
Lavallee.
Yes.
Hoeflich. Yes. Lancaster.
Yes.
Kriete. Yes. Perkins.
Yes.
Luna.
Yes.
Haderlein.
Yes.
All ayes.
Welcome to the board, Joe. You'll need to get with the city clerk to do, there's some paperwork stuff you've got to do, and you have to do OMA training, so, all right? Welcome aboard, thank you. Item number 7, let's move this, is the special recognition of outstanding youth for acts of community kindness. River Schmidt, Harper Schmidt, Emilio Ambrose, and Zach Camp were doing some volunteer work recently, and the city council would like to recognize them for going above and beyond and doing something as young citizens of our community. If you could please step forward, River, Harper, Emilio, and Zach. This way. Which one is Zach? All right, Zach, you could come stand right here. And Emilio, you could stand right next to him. And then Harper, stand right here. And River. Okay, let me read. It's the same proclamation that we're doing for all four, but for each individually. So let's just read what it states. Certificate of Special Recognition to River Schmidt, Zach Camp, Emilio Ambrose, and Harper Schmidt for outstanding youth for acts of community kindness. On behalf of the City of Harvard and all of its citizens, this certificate is presented in recognition of your outstanding act of kindness and civic responsibility. On May 15, 2025, in anticipation of an approaching storm, you went door to door offering to bring in your neighbor's trash cans. A small gesture with a meaningful impact. Your willingness to help without being asked demonstrated maturity, thoughtfulness, and a genuine care for our community. Your actions help protect property and prevent storm-related litter, while also serving as a powerful reminder of how much kindness and leadership our youngest citizens can offer. You have set an inspiring example of what it means to be a good neighbor and a compassionate community member. This recognition is given with heartfelt thanks and deep appreciation, adopted by the City Council on this, the 27th day of May, 2025. River? All right, thank you so much. It's always great to recognize members of our community, especially such young ones, for such acts of kindness. All right, we will move on to item number 8, which is a payment of the bills. Seeking a motion to approve payment of the bills in the amount of $1,569,190.77.
I'll make a motion to approve payment of the bills in the amount of $1,569,190.77.
I will second that motion.
Got a motion by Haderlein and second by Platt-Miller. Any comments or questions here? Hearing none, clerk call the roll.
Alderwoman Luna,
Yes.
Haderlein,
Yes.
Platt-Miller,
Yes.
Lavallee,
Yes.
Hoeflich,
Yes.
Lancaster,
Yes.
Kriete,
Yes.
Perkins.
Yes.
All ayes.
All right. Item number 9 is the appointment of an interim city administrator and a slash the oath of office. I'm seeking a motion to approve appointing Bejot as interim city administrator until we fill the position.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Have a motion by Perkins, second by Haderlein. Any comments or questions here?
I have a question, Mayor.
Yes.
Generally, how long does this process take? Because it was very open-ended, so I'd just like to be able to go
Sure.
to my constituents and be able to tell them.
Of course. So we expect at the beginning of the month to post a new posting for the position. We expect at least a 30-day period to accept resumes, and then a 30-day period to do interviews and kind of narrow it down to the top candidates. After that point, those candidates will go before the administrative committee, because the candidates that I put in front of the administrative committee are the candidates that of who generally I would be willing to appoint, and I really want the administration's committee's input to that process. And then the final appointment will come before the city council. Ideally, end of July, it may be end of August. It really just kind of depends on the interview process and how that goes.
Thank you for the clarification.
Sure. All right, we have a motion in a second. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Lavallee,
Yes.
Hoeflich,
Yes.
Lancaster,
Yes.
Kriete,
Yes.
Perkins,
Yes.
Luna,
Yes.
Haderlein,
Yes.
Platt-Miller.
Yes.
All ayes.
All right, congratulations, Ms. Bejot. Whether or not that's a good thing or bad, glutton for punishment.
Do you want to do the oath now or after?
No, please administer the oath now.
Deb. And I will faithfully discharge the duties of interim city administrator.
All right, congratulations. Moving on. Item number 10, which is the confirmation of mayoral appointment, Parks and Recreation Director, and oath of office. Seeking your action to confirm my appointment of Joe Atkinson as Parks and Recreation Director. Just for council's edification, so you know, last year when this position was up for hire, we had 2 candidates which came before council, or before the Parks Board at the time, and we ended up hiring Stacy, and I would have loved to have hired both Stacy and Joe. Stacy had submitted her resignation now 3 weeks ago, and I called Joe and said, "What's the chance that you would still be interested?" She was, and so we hired her part-time, where she could do turnover from Stacy, so she was able to do some turnover, which was something that we probably wouldn't have been able to do otherwise, and she's ready to come on board, so that's a bit of the background.
Make a motion to approve the mayor's appointment of Joe Atkinson as Parks and Recreation Director.
I'd like to second that.
I second the motion.
You're too late, Rosa. So Lori Lancaster, motion by Haderlein, second by Lancaster.
Okay.
Any comments or questions here?
Mayor, I'm going to ask the same question as last time.
Of
When I
course.
see appointment, I wonder, how long, is there a term? Is this an indefinite appointment? What are we talking about here?
So as department head, the appointment is at the mayor's basically discretion. So as long as she's a good employee, she would remain in the position until she decided she would seek opportunities elsewhere, or there was a reason that we needed to part ways.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
I do have a few, Mayor.
Sure.
First one is, this was never sent out to an email that we had a part-time worker for the parks. I had to hear outside that someone else was shadowing the former superintendent. And I guess with that, is the title superintendent or director?
Actually, under the previous administrator, we changed their titles to director.
All right, because we still mentioned superintendent, that's the only reason why, so it's director now. With that, though, I would like to be more transparent about this. I understand this is your right for appointment and everything with that, and she, applied last year with Stacy. But we also went out for, like you mentioned to Annamarie, that about appointing department heads and everything. The last department heads until this one, we actually interviewed in the admin committee.
No, that's not true.
And besides this one, this was the parks. Everyone else, we went in an interview with the committees.
Yes, each department
Maybe-
head has been interviewed by the respective committee,
Yes.
including this candidate.
But we also had turnover for city council. We have 3 new members, 3 left from that previous one.
Yes? So the Parks Committee interviewed this candidate again.
I watched that meeting as well on the YouTube live stream. And like I was going to say, so I'm going with this one. The one thing I did have a little disappointment with that committee is they asked her roles, and everything was about these parks programs, which have not come up and have not made revenue at all enough to sustain the reason to be. Yes, it's made some revenue. I'm not saying it hasn't made revenue, but not enough to fund the parks thing. And once again, like I mentioned before, is maintenance on these parks is the first thing to do. If you want to get people in and want to enjoy the parks, do bigger programs, you need to maintain them and update them, and you drive them. Anywhere else, any other municipality that has parks, and that are even city-owned, not just, I know there's parks districts, but I'm even talking about city-owned, not park districts, because that's a totally different ballgame. They maintain those facilities and everything like that, and then people are attracted to it, so then when you have these programs, they want to come and then enjoy it even more. So once again, I would like Ms. Atkinson to remember that, because everything in that interview was about the programs. The programs is not big here right now. It's good that we can try and get revenue with that, but maintaining the parks is the big thing. We passed, like I said, a revenue almost 7 years ago, maybe 8 years ago now, a referendum I meant, that says they want to keep the money that was funding for the pool to use for the library and for the parks to maintain them. And that's been my biggest thing since I've been on city council from day one, to make sure those get maintained. And there's multiple parks besides the Lions and Milky Way and Northfield. There's other ones besides those 3 that get talked about all the time. And the thing is, Mayor, please more transparency so we know, so I don't have to hear from someone else that we have a new employee. It'd be nice to know because if I get a constituent asking me about things, be like, Well, I heard that too, but never got an email and confirmed about it.
Fair enough. Thank you. Any other comments or questions here? All right, seeking a motion to appoint.
We have a motion.
Do we have a motion?
And second.
My apologies.
Moved by
We do.
Haderlein.
Haderlein and, I wrote it here. Haderlein and Lancaster, thank you. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk call the roll.
Alderman Hoeflich. Yes. Lancaster.
Yes.
Kriete.
Yes.
Perkins.
No.
Luna.
Yes.
Haderlein.
Yes.
Platt-Miller.
Yes.
Lavallee.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-1.
All right, thank you. Congratulations, welcome aboard. Item number 11 is, we need to oath office, you're right. Clerk?
John, he's on it tonight.
Somebody sitting next to him helping him. Not tonight. Flying solo.
I, Joe Atkinson, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Illinois, that I will faithfully discharge the duties of Parks and Recreation Director for the City of Harvard according to the best of my ability.
All right, thank you, welcome aboard. Item number 11 is Planning and Zoning Commission's recommendation to adopt the previous approved rezoning designation of M1 Manufacturing District to RA Residential Agricultural pursuant to Section 14.2 of the UDO Development Code, Development Ordinance 2025-111. Seeking a motion to approve the Ordinance 2025-111, granting the rezoning of M1 Manufacturing District to RA Residential Agriculture for the property located at 1001 West Roosevelt Street, Harvard, Illinois, 60033, with the condition that the outside storage of fertilizer products or byproducts, including compost, be prohibited.
I will make a motion to readopt the previous approved ordinance 2025-111, granting the rezoning of M1 Manufacturing District to RA Residential Agriculture for the property located at 1001 West Roosevelt Street, Harvard, Illinois, 60033, with the condition that outside storage of fertilizer products or byproducts, including compost, be prohibited.
Second.
Motion by Platt-Miller, second by Perkins. Any comments or questions here? Now's the time to ask. If you recall, this is the company that's going to be now harvesting mushrooms, right? Growing and harvesting mushrooms.
So it's all an indoor operation then?
That's correct. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk call the roll.
Alderwoman Lancaster.
Yes.
Kriete.
Yes.
Perkins.
Yes.
Luna.
Yes.
Haderlein.
Yes.
Platt-Miller.
Yes.
Lavallee.
Yes.
Hoeflich.
Abstain.
Motion passes 7-1 abstention.
All right, thank you. Item number 12 is a Milk Day certificate request for Saturday, June 7th, 2025. Eric Brem at the Hub Lounge is requesting a Milk Day certificate pursuant to Section 25.06B.2 for the outside consumption of alcohol and to encroach on the city sidewalk. This will require action from council to approve or deny the request pending payment of fees and security deposit. And this business has done this every milk days for I don't know how long, and they do a good job.
I'll make motion as is.
Second.
Okay. All right, I got a Perkins and Platt-Miller. Second. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk call the roll.
Alderman Kriete,
Yes.
Perkins,
Yes.
Luna,
Yes.
Haderlein,
Yes.
Platt-Miller,
Yes.
Lavallee,
Yes.
Hoeflich,
Yes.
Lancaster.
Yes.
All ayes.
All right, thank you. Item number 13 is a special event. We just did 13. No, did 12. 13, special event liquor license application. Mr. Carl Opper is requesting a special event liquor license for Saturday, August 23rd, 2025, at the Boys League Shelter. The fees have been paid, and your action is requested to approve or deny the license, and Dram Shop insurance has been submitted.
I'll make motion as is.
Second.
Got a motion by Perkins, second by Lancaster. Any more comments or questions here? Hearing none, clerk call the roll.
Alderman Perkins,
Yes.
Luna,
Yes.
Haderlein,
Yes.
Platt-Miller,
Yes.
Lavallee,
Yes.
Hoeflich,
Yes.
Lancaster,
Yes.
Kriete.
Yes.
All ayes.
All right, thank you. You're good to go. I'll be signing that. I think it'll be ready for you probably next day or two. Okay. Item number 14 is staff recommendation for inducement resolution with Goat Partners International. Are seeking a motion to approve the inducement resolution for Goat Partners International to allow Goat Partners to begin tracking eligible costs for reimbursement at a later date after the proposed tax increment finance district is created, pending council's approval.
It's just more if it's created, correct?
That's correct.
And is this district just going to host this Goat International, or is this going to be I guess, is this, what they're showing on the map here, is this just going to be one company going to be on this parcel that's going to get a TIF?
I'll allow staff to answer that.
At this time, yes. Once we begin the TIF study process, if it gets that far, then we'll look at adjacent properties as well and see if there's any viable options there for other businesses to go in there into the new TIF district. But at this time, it's just these parcels. The property configuration could change as they start to design their overall site plan. At this time, initially they were looking at 12 acres. It's increased to 20 acres. So this is just a rough outline and will be defined later on.
And is this, I guess I'm a little bit jumpy a little bit here about making TIF used by individual properties. And we got one coming up next with the next item, which is basically one property that we're going to do a TIF for.
That particular one is included in the downtown TIF. So the reason that we would like to create the downtown TIF is to spur development for individual property owners to take advantage of the TIF program to revitalize buildings, purchase buildings, what have you. So it's, as property owners are seeking TIF proceeds or incentives, the TIF is an option that's available to them.
But once again, it's assuming that the TIF happens.
That's correct. So the developer is going to spend the money regardless. If the TIF is approved, then by having the inducement resolution, you allow them to use those eligible expenses towards the TIF before the TIF is started. In other words, you've said, okay, if we start a TIF, you can use these expenses as reimbursement, provided that they're eligible. If a TIF is never created, he would have spent the money anyways, so it's just a matter of him doing the extra due diligence to keep track of those expenses should a TIF become eligible. And by you giving this resolution, allows them then to submit those expenses should that TIF get formed.
I'm just wondering, so isn't TIF usually used in a situation to promote redevelopment or development of somehow properties that there are challenges with development, or to spur development in an area where there isn't development? I mean, why would what's the motivation for doing a TIF on flat, easy-to-develop land where somebody wants to put the business there and is going to start building the business there? Why would we do a TIF to benefit that?
The advantage is you attract the business because they wouldn't come here necessarily without the TIF. Pardon me? It's an incentive.
But they're wanting an inducement which indicates that they're going to start building. They're going to start having costs.
That is the expectation, but, at the same time, they also know that a TIF requires the approval of the council. So, in this very area, the TIF industrial, it's the same argument for the industrial complex that we already have a TIF that's coming near the end. It was open, flat farmland. The reason that those buildings are there now are because of the TIF.
Right, but that also included putting in roads and services, that there were substantial site development costs that were designed to benefit many potential businesses, not one single business.
Alderwoman, it's purely at this council's discretion whether you pass it or not.
This particular, TIF districts in general, there's eligible expenses. Ground-up construction is not one of them. So it's land acquisition, architectural plans, staff training, certain programs, and underground infrastructure, getting water and sewer to the site. Ground-up does not qualify. So with that in mind, we'll see what those eligible expenses are. They won't need the entire 23-year TIF. They might only get 5 years out of it, and then it could expire after that. But this just helps pay for some of those upfront costs before they go ground up.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I had a question too. Is that in the enterprise zone, this parcel? Is that part of the industrial park?
So it's currently in the enterprise zone, but if a TIF is created, the TIF takes over the enterprise zone. So you can only have certain benefits out of the enterprise zone
Right.
in a TIF. All the tax advantages for property tax are not applicable in a TIF, since all of that goes into the TIF fund versus the enterprise zone benefit.
The reason I ask is it true that if they build, they're building anyway? They get 4 years, no tax, it's frozen, and then they start increments after that for the next 4?
Only if they use the enterprise zone. So the enterprise zone allows 8 years of tax breaks. You don't pay the school district or the city portion of the taxes. The school district agreed to that when the enterprise zone was created. The first 4 years is at 100%, the next 2 it's at 50%, and then the last 2 it's at 25%. If you use the combination of the enterprise zone and the TIF, you get the enterprise zone benefits where you don't pay sales tax on any of the materials, and you get a 0.5% state income tax break, and typically you don't pay permit fees as well, but that is up for discussion. And then you don't get the real estate tax benefits, but you do get it from the TIF. So like the mayor had said, you can't use both real estate tax benefits, one or the other.
Okay.
This company with this size investment into Harvard and bringing this many employees, they are looking at everything they can to help reduce their capital burden. So TIF district, enterprise zone, opportunity zone, state grants. We've worked with Mark Picos at McHenry County Economic Development Corporation to talk to state legislature, to work with Congress to approve a law that was proposed before to help with creating or making baby formula in the states. So we're trying to pull in all these different agencies and entities to make this project happen for Harvard. And a TIF is just a small piece of that.
What's your pleasure?
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion by Hoeflich and a second by Haderlein. Any other comments or questions here? Hearing none, clerk call the roll, please.
Alderwoman Luna,
Yes.
Haderlein,
Yes?
Platt-Miller,
Yes.
Lavallee,
No.
Hoeflich,
Yes.
Lancaster,
Yes.
Kriete,
Yes.
Perkins.
Yes.
Motion approved 7-1.
All right, thank you. Item number, let's see, we're on to 15 now. So 15 is staff's recommendation for a second inducement resolution for, with Greenway Group LLC, seeking a motion to approve the inducement resolution for Greenway Group LLC to allow Greenway Group to begin tracking eligible costs for reimbursement at a later date after the proposed tax increment finance district is created pending city council approval. This is for the property located, I don't know the exact address on Air Street. What is that?
I believe it's 12.
10?
12.
12.
12
It's
North
the
Air.
old senior center.
Yes. There it is, 12 North.
So Mayor, do we have finalized what that area is for the downtown TIF yet?
No, I don't believe the infrastructure committee's created that final map, has it?
The Community Development
Or
Committee
community
has.
development, sorry.
Yep, we expanded what the original outline was at their last meeting, I believe it was. The TIF consultant has drawn up that map, and we need to hire a surveyor to create the boundaries for it, and then we can do our public notice to hold our joint review board meeting.
Okay, but it definitely includes this property.
Yes. Yes.
So are other property owners in the potential TIF being notified that they could seek inducement resolution to begin tracking costs that they may be incurring that would be eligible for reimbursement?
Yes.
So they are aware?
The ones that have come in project specific to our department are being made aware of it.
Okay.
The majority of people, well, there's 3 of them, prefer the enterprise zone over the TIF because the benefits from the materials, negating the sales tax and the materials is a lot higher than what they'll get from that TIF district in some cases.
Thank you.
Once the surveyor is done with the property description for it, and all the notices will go out to all business owners or properties within that district, and they'll be notified. You bring up a good point. It makes sense to create a flyer, a little cheat sheet on what the TIF can do for a property owner, so that if they are planning those expenditures, we could help with that.
Thank you.
What's your pleasure?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion by Platt-Miller, second by Lancaster. Any further comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk call the roll, please.
Alderwoman Haderlein,
Yes.
Platt-Miller,
Yes.
Lavallee,
Yes.
Hoeflich,
Yes.
Lancaster,
Yes.
Kriete,
Yes.
Perkins,
Yes.
Luna.
Yes.
All ayes, motion passes.
All right, thank you. Item number 16 is the Community and Economic Development Committee's recommendation seeking a motion to approve an ordinance repealing 21.19 laundromats from the Harvard Municipal Code.
I will make a motion to approve an ordinance repealing the 21.19 laundromats from the Harvard Municipal Code.
Second.
Motion by Platt-Miller and second by Haderlein. Any other comments or questions here? Hearing none, clerk call the roll, please.
Alderwoman Platt-Miller,
Yes.
Lavallee,
Yes.
Hoeflich,
Yes.
Lancaster,
Yes.
Kriete,
Yes.
Perkins,
Yes.
Luna.
Yes.
Haderlein.
Yes.
All ayes.
All right, thank you. Item number 17 is the Community and Economic Development Committee's recommendation, seeking a recommendation to authorize the filing of a petition to Planning and Zoning Commission for text amendment to the Unified Development Ordinance to, 1, amend the use matrix to require a conditional use permit for laundromats and dry cleaners within the B1 RC zoning district, which includes all of North Air Street and a portion of South Air Street, and 2, revise Section 2.3 definitions of general terms to remove laundromats and dry cleaners from the definition of personal service establishments and create separate definitions for each use.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
I have a motion by Perkins and second by Platt-Miller. Any comments or questions here?
So just to clarify, and I think I found my answer, but just to clarify, so this would then allow potentially a laundromat or dry cleaner in the downtown district with a conditional use, and it would still be a permitted use in the other business districts,
Correct.
like where they are now, where the laundromats are now. Okay, thank you.
All right, any other comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk, call the roll, please.
Alderman Lavallee.
Yes.
Hoeflich.
Yes.
Lancaster.
Yes.
Kriete.
Yes.
Perkins.
Yes.
Luna.
Yes.
Haderlein.
Yes.
Platt-Miller.
Yes.
All ayes.
All right, thank you. Moving on to item number 18. So the Community and Economic Development Committee has a recommendation seeking a motion to adopt an ordinance amending Municipal Code 19.05 license.
I'll make that motion.
Anyone care to second?
Hey, Mayor, can you tell me, I'm all confused here with what I was reading earlier, but this is to amend it to, instead of having the licenses all due at one time during the year, to make them whenever they're applied for?
So instead of
Is that
them
this
all commencing and ending January 1 through December 31st, it would be on the date that they received it, and then the renewal date would be the following annually on that date.
one? Right, and we have the software now, so this won't be a problem.
Correct.
Correct.
So this makes it really easy for contractors who, they got a license on November 1st, and now they got to get another license on January 1. That doesn't seem quite fair because we don't prorate the license fee.
Okay, and this is, I'm assuming, we're not new in doing this, other municipalities do it this way?
I didn't research other municipalities for this in particular.
We have the ability to do that now, and it's more accommodating to our contractors.
Okay, thank you. I'll second.
All right, we have a motion by Perkins and second by Lavallee. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none? Oh, yeah.
Should I abstain as being a contractor?
If you think that you can maintain impartiality, you do not need to abstain.
All right, any other comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk call the roll, please.
Alderman Hoeflich.
Yes.
Lancaster.
Yes.
Kriete.
Yes.
Perkins.
Yes.
Luna.
Yes.
Haderlein.
Yes.
Platt-Miller.
Yes.
Lavallee.
Yes.
All ayes.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 19. All right, Community and Economic Development Committee recommendation seeking a motion to adopt an ordinance amending the municipal city code 19.04A and 19.04C permit schedule.
Make a motion to adopt an ordinance amending Municipal City Code 1904A and 1904C permit schedule.
I'll second that.
Motion by Haderlein, second by Lancaster. Any comments or questions here?
I got a question. So this is going to essentially make it 18 months. From the time you apply, get a permit, you're going to have 18 months basically to get your project done?
Correct.
Even a simple fence.
A simple fence, apparently.
And you have to start within 6 months, right?
That's correct.
That's what I'm saying though, so if you wait
Yeah.
until whatever, you can go 18 months.
If you start right away, you have 12 months, but if you wait 6 months, you could foreseeably get to 18 months, correct?
Assuming we have the ability to track this now also.
Yes.
Then they can get a 90-day extension.
All right, any other comments or questions?
Most of the scheduling permit thing is pretty good, except that simple fence should not take 18 months, and it should never be allowed to take 18 months. Because you can easily do a backyard fence within a couple months, even with weather permitting. And 18 months is even worse than resurfacing a road. So, and it's not building a house. So I recommend that we deny this, all say no, and have them re-change the scheduling. For the big projects, yes, 18 months, but these small ones should go back to 6 months, 8 months, something like that. Because the one thing and it finally got done is that fence on South Air Street at the corner of Park took well over almost 2 years of just sitting there with posts. And that even looks hideous when you're driving down Air Street.
I would just like to remind the council people that sometimes it is not the person who has the property, but a contractor who has disappeared. And sometimes...
It's not that hard to find a fence contractor.
But if you are in an economic position where you've unfortunately paid for it, contractor disappears, and we've seen a lot of this with storm damage. And now all of a sudden you're chasing after money because you've put out everything that you thought you could afford and you were going to pay for the rest. These things do happen to people, and I don't think we're talking about, 5 years to put up a simple fence. I think 18 months is very reasonable when we look at the very big picture and the very broad picture that stuff happens.
For the
that's
big
not-
ones, I get that. That's why I said we should re-look at that before we vote on this and redo the thing.
And I also think that sometimes for the little ones, for the everyday people, as we've seen in this council, things do happen. And
Things do happen, but it does
And I
not
think
take
compassion, I think,
18 months for a fence, even
and
when,
I disagree, but I appreciate you voicing your opinion.
understand,
And I'm putting my fence up myself, so if I get sick, I'm the only guy.
Well, we hear all those excuses that are counter, and that was the reason for proposing 6 months to start, 12 months to complete. It's, my husband just had back surgery, he can't get around to it, we're waiting for prices on lumber to come down, we're sick.
prices on lumber
All
is
of those
never coming
things.
down, so that's not gonna ever happen.
Those are things we've heard, I'm just saying what we've heard.
I would say then redo, how much is the permit for a fence every time you do it?
It's $30.
$30. I think they can afford another $30 if they have to renew it, because the fence is thousands of dollars. So if they really want to invest thousands of dollars, they will pay another $30.
Any other comments or questions?
Yeah, since we're going that way, could you address the same issue if you wanted to be a quote-unquote nuisance to your neighbor? I want to put a fence up, and I'll put one stick up at a time for 18 months. I mean, that would be your rule, right? If you wanted to take 18 months to do any project, and someone wanted to do that project just to be a nuisance because they have 18 months, would that be something you need to consider?
That's something for council to consider when
You
you
know, to
vote.
itemize certain projects, I'm saying.
Oh, they'd have to put that first stick up at 5 months and
Right.
29 days.
Correct. Right. Well, I mean, we're covering all the basics, right? I'm not saying someone's going to take the time to do it, but there's always a chance, right?
I also think we're kind of just going to extremes here, and I think 18 months is a reasonable amount of time, and we don't have a huge staff who polices this either, and I don't want to put an extra strain on our city staff. I mean, you know, if we had the budget to have 10 inspectors going out and checking these things, and that might be one thing, we're limited, and I think just being reasonable people and being good neighbors. And if that guy puts up that one stick, I would hope that you're a good neighbor and you're going to talk to him and say, do you need a hand?
Guess we'll see, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good thing I'm not in your ward, huh?
Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Alderwoman Lancaster.
Yes.
Kriete.
No.
Perkins.
No.
Luna.
Yes.
Haderlein.
Yes.
Platt-Miller.
Yes.
Lavallee.
Yes.
Hoeflich.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-2.
All right, thank you. Item number 20, Community and Economic Development Committee recommendation, seeking a motion to authorize the filing of a petition to the Planning and Zoning Commission for a text amendment of the Unified Development Code Section 9.6.B1 and 9.6.B.1.C.1.
So we're talking about a fraction of a millimeter of distance here up to the lot line, not on the lot line. Okay.
Yes, but we're making it crystal clear.
Okay. Okay.
That's the, trying to remove that ambiguity.
So this would be staff, right? Because if a neighbor allows them to put it on the lot line, that'll just be a staff thing. It won't come here for a variance.
I'm,
They wouldn't come for a variance. Some people like to tie into a neighbor's fence. The neighbor gives them permission. Typically, they let us tie into
I just don't want it to be like the driveway all over again.
I don't anticipate that being the case.
And then the other thing I did have it when I talked to Donavan almost a month ago, because of that is because the lot lines, if you can't butt up against it because your neighbor says, no, you have that type of neighbor, you're going to have maybe this much section of stuff that weeds might grow into because neither one's going to put Roundup in there or weed whack that because I can't fit in there. That's only my concern about that. And it might not actually look as, pretty or with that. I actually never thought there was an issue with the lot line thing, besides, I guess, the utility thing, which a lot of people, utilities have the right of way to go in there if they want to anyways and do what they want to do, even if your fence is there. You have to fix your own fence.
What's your pleasure?
I motion to approve the ordinance as written, as corrected.
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion by Lavallee, second by Platt-Miller. Just to be clear, since no one actually stated, motion to authorize the filing of a petition to the Planning and Zoning Commission for a text amendment to the Unified Development Ordinance, Section 9.6.B1 and 9.6.B1.C.1. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk call the roll, please.
Alderman Kriete,
No.
Perkins,
No.
Luna,
Yes.
Haderlein,
No.
Platt-Miller,
Yes.
Lavallee,
Yes.
Hoeflich,
Yes.
Lancaster.
No.
Motion ties.
Oh, 4-4.
4-4. Let me just double check. I'm counting this right. Yes, 4-4.
Gets to vote.
So this is the second time in my tenure that there's been a tied vote. I will vote yes.
Motion passes 5-4.
All right, thank you. Item number 21, Parks and Recreation Board recommendation. Seeking a motion to approve the proposal and agreement with IPS Incorporated for a water slide resurfacing in the amount of $12,585.
I will make,
Go ahead. You can go ahead.
I make a motion to approve.
I have a motion by Luna.
Everyone wants a piece of this one.
Oh, you say, all right, I didn't catch that, I'm sorry. Motion by Luna, Hoeflich, seconds. Any comments or questions here?
The only question I have on this is, I think about 6 years ago when I first got on, there was a Ringgold pool closed down, and they had a bunch of this stuff. And this slide is even older. That's why we have to spend $12,585 to restore it. My recommendation for the Parks Committee and for the director is when someone on the committee, even the constituents that are on there, which I mean residents, when they find that there's another government body that's willing to give away stuff to go check it out to see what it is instead of spending full price, because we possibly don't even, possibly right now, if we looked at it and that slide was in decent shape, because it was newer, we possibly didn't have to be spending this $12,585 this year. So my recommendation for you guys is make sure, listen to everyone on the committee that's there. And then if they have these things, go check it out. Doesn't mean we have to do it. Just go see. It could be, it might not be worth it, but at least you can check it out to see it. Because Marengo had a bunch of stuff they were giving away that year, the pool, when they closed theirs down and had stuff and they finally wanted to get rid of it. So that's just my recommendation.
I had a question also. We didn't know of this last fall. Is this, I mean, when did this come up? With inspection of the pool this past spring or what? Because we didn't have this budgeted.
That's correct, we did not have it
So-
budgeted.
Deb, do you want me
It was noted on inspection.
It was noted on inspection. We weren't aware of that till we read the inspection report this year, until it came to our
There's no
attention.
inspection from last year?
Yes, it was at the end of last fall. There was an inspection
month?
report. I'm sorry?
What month was this inspection done?
I believe the report was August of last year. And then we received a reminder report this spring regarding this, and we happen to have some funding in the capital improvement account that we can use towards this. And actually, this price was significantly lower. I believe the other one was up around over 20,000.
Yeah, I think it was, I think the other one was about $30,000. I think initially, what was thought was that the coating could be applied in-house, and this is a gel coat.
Yeah.
The slide is in pretty bad deteriorated condition. When we originally went out to see if we could apply any of these products, even the people that sold them said, we can sell them to you. We wouldn't recommend you install them. just because of the tolerances and the things that have to be done to surface prep and to do this type of work. He said that even experienced installers have trouble with this gel coat and fiberglass restoration.
And are they gonna be able to get this work done before the season?
They believe they will be, but if they cannot, they can do it while the pool is still open. They just, the slide would be closed while it's being done. I believe,
They do it in place.
they do it in
Yes.
place, yes. I believe it takes about a day and then a day or two
I
of
think it's a
curing.
3-day total for curing,
Yeah.
and we won't open the slide till it's done. So that apparatus will be closed down. Hopefully, if this passes, we'll be able to get a hold of them tomorrow and get that on the schedule to get it taken care of right away.
Is there a lifespan on this resurfacing or a warranty that goes with it?
Good question. 3-year warranty.
Do you have to cover it in the wintertime or do anything to,
As far as,
Maintain that?
I don't have that answer. I don't know anything about the maintenance, but that's certainly something we can talk to the contractor about and make sure if it is something that will prolong the life, we will take care of that as well.
sure?
Right now, the biggest issue is that the gel coat in areas, the slide's been repainted with some sort of paint over the time. In areas where the gel coat's showing, that's allowing moisture to impregnate the fiberglass fibers. So if we don't do anything, it's just going to deteriorate at a rapid pace until we're going to have to replace the entire slide.
Is there any UV damage to the fiberglass?
This was all looked at by the company, and they said that with the spot repairs and the top coating, that they'd be able to address it and bring it back to where it needs to be.
All right, any other comments or questions? A new slide?
I think they mentioned in the Parks Committee 60,000 when I listened to it.
All right, any other comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk call the roll, please.
Alderman Perkins,
Yes.
Luna,
Yes.
Haderlein,
Yes.
Platt-Miller,
Yes.
Lavallee,
Yes.
Hoeflich,
Yes.
Lancaster,
Yes.
Creed.
Yes.
all ayes.
All right, item number 22 is Administration Committee recommendation for Air Street resurfacing bid, seeking a motion to approve the contract with Schroeder Asphalt in the amount of $391,000. I think there's an error in this number.
An extra
300
zero.
Yeah,
Is there
there's one.
$6.15
That was,
to authorize staff to proceed with project coordination.
Make a motion to approve the contract with Schroeder Asphalt in the amount of $391,006.15 and authorize staff to proceed with project coordination.
I'll second.
All right, motion by Haderlein and second by Perkins. Any comments or questions here?
Deb, do you remember how much we budgeted for this one? 700,000. And I know it's going to be another thing, so with John, and I don't know if we have to go to admin, is look at, I know you guys talked about the pavers in your admin meeting, which is being, they would have to look at, but we need to direct staff to look at the pavers about lifting the bricks up or doing the concrete stamp for the intersection with the pavers at, and then also seeing how much it would cost to do some of these alleys. Because we have $250,000 that we budgeted that we aren't going to be using now. And we still have enough money for if we go on for that bond that we've been in discussions with. So those are the two big things. So if we're going to be doing this, which everyone knew that was here, I was not a big fan of doing Air Street because of what it would look like for constituents. But if we have this money, because I'm glad this went down this much, alleys need to be done, and those bricks either need to be lifted, if that's the cheapest way and they can last longer, or make them a concrete stamp, because that even looks just as nice as the bricks, and that will even definitely last longer. So I direct staff to look into those things and see how much the cost is and see what we can do in our committees, and we can make a decision for the future projects this year.
Staff will get together with our city engineer and get some different options for those projects and have a report back to Infrastructure Committee next month. He is on vacation for the next week, so we will do our best to get at least his opinion on that and then move forward with some pricing if we're able to do so prior to that time.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk call the roll.
Alderwoman Luna.
Yes.
Haderlein.
Yes.
Platt-Miller.
Yes.
Lavallee.
Yes.
Hoeflich.
Yes.
Lancaster.
Yes.
Kriete.
Yes.
Perkins.
Yes.
All ayes.
Thank you, clerk. All right, item number 23 is the Administration Committee recommendation for Air Street Resurfacing Construction Observation Engineering Contract. Seeking a motion to approve the Air Street Resurfacing Project 3 engineering contract to Christopher B. Burke Engineering in the amount of $49,967.
I'll make the motion as is.
Second.
Motion by Perkins, second by Platt-Miller. Any comments or questions here?
I just want to make a comment that I really, really, really like that we're going this way now, that we're using our city engineer more, that we're getting, I think the money we spend on this, we're going to get back from a better project. And so I really like that we're doing it since I've been here. It's one of the things that when I first got onto the council really made me a little nervous, the way things were done, and it really looks like we're turning a corner, and I'm looking forward to next few years here. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk call the roll.
Alderwoman Haderlein.
Yes.
Platt-Miller.
Yes.
Lavallee.
Yes.
Hoeflich.
Yes.
Lancaster.
Yes.
Kriete.
Yes.
Perkins.
Yes.
Luna.
Yes.
All ayes.
All right, thank you. Item number 24 is the Administration Committee's recommendation seeking approval to the amendment to amend the school speed zone location ordinance 15.12.A.1.
Make a motion to approve the amendment to the school speed zone location ordinance 15.12.A.1.
Second.
All right, motion by Haderlein, second by Lancaster. Any comments or questions here? Hearing none, clerk call the roll.
Alderwoman Platt-Miller.
Yes.
Lavallee.
Yes.
Hoeflich.
Yes.
Lancaster.
Yes.
Kriete.
Yes.
Perkins.
Yes.
Luna.
Yes.
Haderlein.
Yes.
All ayes.
All right, thank you. Item number 25 is the Administration Committee's recommendation for surplus property, seeking a motion to adopt the proposed ordinance declaring surplus property.
Make a motion to adopt the proposed ordinance declaring surplus property.
I'll second.
All right, I have a motion by Haderlein, second by Platt-Miller. Any comments or questions here? The list of items are in your packet, and they're all set to be scrapped. Hearing none, clerk call the roll, please.
Alderman Lavallee.
Yeah.
Hoeflich.
Yes.
Lancaster.
Yes.
Kriete.
Yes.
Perkins.
Yes.
Luna.
Yes.
Haderlein.
Yes.
Platt-Miller.
Yes.
All ayes.
Okay, item number 26 is a discussion/action to extend Wholesome tolling agreement for 3 more months. Seeking your approval to extend the Wholesome tolling agreement basically for 3 more months because we haven't completed our negotiations, I guess.
So this was something from a while ago, from like the end of last year.
This is the third time, right? We're renewing.
The second renewal of the tolling, extension of the tolling agreement, isn't it?
The first tolling agreement took place in December. I don't recall when that went.
Yeah, so the first one went from December 8th to March 2024 to March 8th, 2025. And then it was extended from March 8th, 2025 until, I don't have the exact date in front of me, shortly coming up, and then this one would extend it again to September 8th.
And this is so we can negotiate
It's
better
for
terms
them,
with
I
them, or
think.
what are we waiting for?
Well, I think the answer is we're waiting for council, or actually the Community and Economic Development Committee, to come up with agreement that the current tolling agreement is going forward, and we're going to renew their development agreement.
Did we ever get a rough draft?
So there was a draft
And then that got sent
Provided.
back.
that was reviewed, but it's my understanding that not all of the elected officials had a chance to review that the first time around, and that it was recommended we extend this so that the newly elected officials would have a chance to review that developers agreement draft as it is today.
But the new officials don't have any of the background.
Correct.
I mean, they haven't been part of any of those discussions, so are
Correct.
we going to,
So the reason
Do
it was
that?
recommended that we extend it, and correct me if I'm wrong, was so that we could establish some of that background and get them up to speed on that before a developer agreement is or is not approved.
But this is just the community economic development, new members, or everybody?
Well, I think we've had some realignment of committees, so it essentially is in a pause until the new committee can go, yes, we agree to send it to council.
well,
So,
I've
to buy us some
all
time-
along have thought that this should just go back to a public hearing, but, so, I'm not interested in continuing to extend it.
Well, I am interested in continuing to extend it so I can figure out what the heck's going on. With that, I will make a motion to approve the Holcomb tolling agreement an additional 3 months.
I'll second it.
So we have a motion by Platt-Miller, second by Lancaster, to extend the Wholesome tolling agreement an additional 3 months to determine if we would agree to a redevelopment agreement. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk, call the roll, please.
Alderman Hoeflich.
Yes.
Lancaster.
Yes.
Kriete.
Yes.
Perkins.
Yes.
Luna.
Yes.
Haderlein.
No.
Platt-Miller.
Yes.
Lavallee.
Yeah.
Motion passes 7-1.
Okay, thank you. Item number 27 is strategic vision review. I do plan to have a committee of the whole in July so that everybody can be brought up to date. But if there's anything that you would like to discuss this evening relative to the strategic review, this is the agenda item for you to do so.
I got a question. What's happening with the old city hall?
Well, that's a good question.
It's sitting around empty for a while.
So what I know of that particular project, they had come to the city seeking a TIF, which is part of the TIF mapping that has not yet been finally approved. The owners of that building, no, the city sold that building 3 years ago now, I think it was. And they were seeking a TIF to be able to help them redevelop it. Since then, there has been, their original plan for a brew pub was scrapped, and then they were starting to look at doing some kind of temporary housing like a Airbnb. And at the current juncture, I don't know where they are. Donavan, can you update us?
We just provided a letter of support for the owner Luis Castaneda, who wants to do a banquet facility, and he's seeking a grant from, I believe, DCEO to do that. He would design it in such a way that would allow him in the future to do the original plan of, or second plan of 3 floors, the lower level being Airbnb units to accommodate the Star Line, and then 2 additional floors for our apartments.
Use the same structure.
Correct.
But there really isn't a 3rd floor.
They would add one.
So they'd actually build a 3rd floor onto,
Well, the ceiling height in the main room, which was probably the council chambers, I'm guessing, is tall enough where I believe they only had to add it 2 to approximately 3 feet to accommodate the
but
necessary height.
it has a barrel roof. It's not just a regular roof. I mean,
Well,
they
they're-
have to build a whole new roof.
Right, and that's what they would plan on doing. So their architect, who we met with, who presented to, I believe it was Community Development Committee or full council,
Yes.
when we passed the inducement resolution, presented that as such.
That one? That must have been the old community development, because I don't remember seeing that in city council.
It's a very expensive.
Any other comments or questions under strategic
Safety
vision?
code issues.
Hearing none, we'll move on to staff reports. We'll start down this end. DC, the chief's not here tonight, so you step in for us.
Sorry about that. The report's been submitted. I only have a couple things. I have Officer Stahl is back to full duty as of last Friday. Feeling good, so everything's back intact. And then our candidate for hire just passed our background check, essentially. We're looking at an academy date, June 29th, at the Illinois State Police Academy. And some talks about when her prospective hire date will be had in the near future.
So, academy date in July, did you say? I'm sorry?
June 29th.
June 29th, almost July.
Yeah.
So, be back on probation basically Christmas time, yeah?
The academy runs at 16 weeks now in the state of Illinois, so it used to be 10 weeks, 12 weeks, now it's 16 weeks. So she'll be back at the end of October. And her probationary period would start the day of hire, run the 18 months. When she comes back, she'll go right into FTO, so.
Okay.
So some big happenings there. Other than that, we have Milk Days coming up, as I'm sure we're all aware. So we're getting excited for that.
I think staff's been pretty busy getting prepared for that. Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you.
Joe, have you got something for us tonight, having just been appointed?
Slides, so we're excited.
Okay, thank you. Rob?
Most of what I was going to talk about has been covered in the report. We got some, air streets coming up here. We're still working out with county for the airport road and McGuire rec path. Still waiting on an agreement from them. Staffing level has kept them from getting that to us. Just getting caught up on stuff. We are still out chipping intermittently. The windstorm brought us out again. We had to take a stop, and then a bunch of people put a bunch of stuff out, so we're going around and collecting that, so it's not sitting there. We also had tree inventory has been completed and uploaded, so I just got to take a look at that today in the GIS, so we'll have an idea of the hazard trees. I believe we got a lot of them addressed. We'll be submitting for a grant for that. And then we have a notice of funding opportunity from IDOT that said that there's $400 million of funds that they're releasing that really don't have a lot of strings, that have no local match, and everybody and their brother is putting in for this. So we scrambled to put in a few projects. Just briefly, Garfield from 173 to 14, reconstruct and adding curb and gutter and sidewalks to both sides on the north end. Brink Street from 14 all the way out to Schultz Road, partnering with other municipalities, helps our scores. So that would help since there's 5 different municipalities involved in Brink Street and that length. And Oak Grove Road, which would partner up with what Chemung Township just did last year. So we're hoping these are going to score. There's not really a whole lot of information out there right now. They're going to base it on, is it a disadvantaged community? And in this one paragraph, does it sound good enough for us to fund? So we should know, but it's going to take them a lot of time because everybody I know is putting in for these and they're putting in multiple projects. So that's all I have. Milk Day's coming up, as DC said, getting ready for that. So it's going to take up a lot of our time for the next week and a half.
Did the new grant writer do that?
Actually, that's being handled by Gary, our engineer.
Okay.
So in fact, he just attended a webinar that kind of gives them all the details about it. So yes, expect that. We're really hoping for the Garfield Road because that's basically a huge street, a major thoroughfare that would free up our money to do other roads. So, Ann?
Well, in addition to the report submitted, we're having houses being built all over town again this summer. So got 2 new duplexes going in with a new builder and various single-family homes throughout the town. It's pretty nice.
All right, thank you. Donavan?
Thank you, Mayor. Ducky's Car Wash is planning an expansion. They're adding 1 bay to the east of the existing bays. They will be appearing before Planning and Zoning Commission on June 3rd, seeking a conditional use for that. They currently don't have a conditional use because the car wash was in existence before the ordinance was created. So they're considered legal nonconforming and soon to be conforming, hopefully. They also purchased the lot east of their existing property, a large, I believe it's 2.6 acres, and they'd like to rezone that to B2. It's currently Business Park, BP, and put storage, indoor and outdoor storage on that parcel. So they'll be seeking a conditional use permit from Planning and Zoning Commission for that. Planning and Zoning Commission will also hear the city's petition regarding wireless telecommunication antennas and towers regulations, which have been sent to them and that you all will receive tomorrow. You'll be getting the Planning and Zoning Commission packet. Starbucks has moved back their open date from July now to August. They're still waiting on IDOT for their approval.
Not Duncan.
It's moving a lot faster than Duncan. The Shadow Creek lots, the 2 lots that we subdivided out of the park, we were about to send the legal notice to the newspaper to put those out for auction. However, we decided we felt that it was appropriate to notify the neighbors before we did that, so we will be sending out a letter notifying the neighbors that those lots next to them will be auctioned off and wait for any comment period from the neighbors before we do post that notice in the newspaper. And you had mentioned the grant writers. We did submit a $1 million grant. They did on our behalf a $1 million revolving loan fund grant to DCEO. So if we win that, that'll put $1 million in our grant funding for revolving loan fund. That's all I have.
All right, thank you. Committee reports. We'll start with you, Lori.
I've got nothing at this time.
Nothing to report. Okay. Joel, anything for council?
Nope.
All right, Matt?
Do we need a community development in June meeting?
Were you going to change the
Yeah,
date
'cause
and time so it's not at 8 o'clock?
Could it still be the second Tuesday of the month like it was for the
It
last
can't
year?
be because our infrastructure, you mean
Infrastructure's at 6:30 that Tuesday.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering then, why was it for the whole last year at 6 then for community development? So I thought on the
Well,
second Tuesday?
we changed everything with the new council.
Okay.
And infrastructure got their bid in first.
I didn't get to speak first. The mayor went that way first. before it came to me.
Well, for certain, the committee needs to figure out a better period to meet regularly, and I know it's kind of contingent upon your schedule, and so there's nothing that says we have to have it the same night
Correct.
each month. I think to accommodate your schedule, we probably just need to schedule it each month until, the committee comes to an agreement on a permanent night of the month to do it.
As long as it's not 8 PM.
No, that was only because of that thing. I threw it in there just to be one. That's the only reason why I did the one. That wasn't going to be permanent. I was going to change it. If we had a whole committee that day, it would have been changed that night.
I don't think is June up yet.
Third Tuesday looks free.
So they're not loaded into the calendar yet for next month. So if we go back to May. So can you meet on Mondays? Instead of it being community development? I think-
Like I said, Mayor, it's gonna be month to month, but it won't be 8 o'clock.
All right, so.
Because also we didn't have an infrastructure meeting this past month in May, and I kind of wish we did because I found out more in admin. There was stuff that would have got me up to date on things in that committee. And it's usually the second Tuesday, and I'm going to see if John can change that one because that's on my shift, June 10th. So. I think I'm the only one that does the 24-hour shifts. Most people work days. What we're looking at, if we need to tentatively schedule one, looks like June, for the community developed one, it could be tentatively June 17th, that Tuesday. What do we have there on the 3rd?
I have nothing.
No, yeah, because I was saying third Monday is parks. Would that be, they would be done by 6:30, right? Usually.
Well, they want to meet in that other
but
room over
you
there
guys
anyway.
mean the committee one?
So you could do the 17th.
I'm good.
Just make the note of that, and then we'll put it in the calendar for, what time, Matt?
6:30, is that good with everyone?
It's meeting good.
Yeah, 6:30 every day, because that's what we've been doing usually, except one committee I think was doing 6, but we try and do 6:30.
You good for that, Lori?
Yep, it works.
And
No.
it doesn't work. Still have a quorum with 3, but it's.
I
I
know,
try and
that's-
accommodate for most, because
I know, and it's, you guys keep moving it around, and I'm like trying to hit a moving target, and so I make plans on days that I don't have meetings, and then you guys change meetings, and then I have plans I can't change, and so I kind of,
I just work every third shift, 24 hours, that's why. It's
Yeah.
really tough for me.
and I just have to work and have a life, and, it's normal stuff. And I won't, and I'll be in a situation on that day where I won't even be able to call in, which a lot of times I can do something where I can, but
Well, you can call in, okay.
yeah, but that date, I rearranged theater tickets so that I could make theater based on my other calendar.
No, I understand.
Well, I'm pulling out my calendar here.
Let me sell those on market.
I already sold the Beauty and the Beast tickets because of the next month's meeting. So Beauty and the Beast is gone for me now, guys. I take this seriously.
Do we have something that next day on the 18th?
Admin.
Admin's is the
6:30.
3rd. Okay, 3rd Wednesday.
Yeah, June 18th, I can't.
It'll be the
yeah, that's- Yeah, June 18th I can't make. I've got a work obligation that day. That whole week is just sucks.
We don't have anything very,
Just remember, we're going to have a committee of the whole in July, so there's an extra
Yeah.
meeting. Just letting you know. But if you, what's that? We don't.
June, how about that Thursday, June 12th?
Sure. Hey, I can,
Yes.
yes, I can make that work.
So bingo?
Yes.
Okay, June 12th, 6:30. All right, anything else, Matt?
Nothing further, Mayor.
Okay. Lisa?
I think you forgot Rosa.
Rosa.
Yeah.
You're right, the seat is empty. Rosa, my apologies. Do you have anything for
That's
council
okay.
tonight?
No, I have nothing, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Lisa?
Yeah, so just tree board will be June 4th, Wednesday at 6:30, and admin will be the 18th at 6:30. That's it. Oh, I did want to just mention, thank you to the mayor and Deb and Joel and other folks who helped plant 75 trees and shrubs a week or so ago on Sunday. And yeah, it was done in 2 hours. It's an impressive effort.
I did not believe we could get it done that quickly, but we did.
And thanks to Gio for his help. Did a great job. So, yeah. Now we just have to keep them watered, so. And hope that it rains once in a while.
It rained good last week. So.
It did. It did. So.
It was good soaking rain. So.
Yes. So, yeah. So thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Annamarie? Nothing tonight.
Nothing tonight.
All right, John.
But I had a question on his, report. You talk about the evaluation anaerobic digester boiler. That's a part of the plan?
Yeah, we did not replace that, no. We didn't really do anything, I think, in that particular building at all. I think at one point, in not too distant past, we replaced the roof on it, but we didn't really touch any of that particular part of the plant.
Alderman, that's going to be on your committee agenda on your infrastructure committee next month as an agenda item. So we'll have.
Okay, you better schedule that one. When can you have it? When can you be there?
Since I switched mine to the 17th, 12th, is June 17th okay?
17 works for me, Lisa.
That you're,
Wait, hold on.
Lisa and Joel, I guess.
Weren't we going to do it on the 10th?
I had it marked as the 10th.
you have your other meeting, is yours the third Tuesday, right? You have that for your other,
For my job, yeah,
Yes.
the third Tuesday.
that's what it is, that's what it was.
Yeah, so that's,
Can't do it the 17th.
yeah, I can't, I'm not available on the 17th.
Am I able to phone in if I'm running a call, because I'm going to be working? I mean, I can try and phone in if you guys allow that, because I'm at work.
Now, electronic,
Yeah, that's fine.
part of the meeting.
But I didn't know if it's because it's not really like a health issue or anything like that.
No, I think that you're working is an applicable or an acceptable excuse.
Okay,
Sure.
6:30?
perfect. Thank you.
Anything else? All right, thank you. Mike, do you have anything tonight?
I have nothing.
All right, thank you. Matt, do you have anything for the council?
No, I do not, Mayor.
All right, administrators report.
Treasurers.
Packet, Mayor.
Oh, I skipped over treasury report.
No, that one's in the packet too.
So you could do both, yeah. In the packet. Clerk's report.
Upcoming meeting dates, Planning and Zoning, 7 PM on June 3rd. June 4th, Tree Board at 6:30. June 10th, after all this, if I'm not mistaken, Infrastructure at 6:30. June 12th, Community and Economic Development at 6:30. June 16th, Parks and Rec at 6 PM. June 18th, Administrative Committee at 6:30. And the next regular City Council meeting is June 24th at 7 PM. That is all I have.
Okay, thank you. For the mayor's report, I really have only one thing to update you on, and that is the site study grant that we were getting from DCEO. I just signed the paperwork for that today. So once that gets countersigned, then the grant funding will be flowing to us so we can start that project. So looking forward to that. That grant was for $144K, if you recall. All right, at this time, we accept the motion to move into closed session to discuss Section 2C11 litigation.
Make a motion to move into closed session to discuss Section 2C11 litigation.
Second.
I have a motion by Lancaster and a second by Haderlein. Clerk, call the roll.
Alderwoman Lancaster,
Yes?
Kriete,
Yes.
Perkins,
Yes.
Luna,
Yes.
Haderlein,
Yes.
Platt-Miller,
Yes.
Lavallee,
Yes.
Hoeflich.
Yes.
All ayes.
All right, this time I will pause the stream, and we'll ask those who are not part of council to please be dismissed. It's going. I don't see it here. Make sure that's still going then, just to be sure. Okay.
Going the whole time then.
No, it was. We had already had, it shows that we're at 3 hours, but I don't know why it's not showing up after restarting the stream. Maybe we can start all.
That was excellent connection.
Well, regardless, I'll take a motion to come out of closed session.
Make a motion to come out of closed
Second.
session.
So motion by Haderlein, second by Lancaster. Any comments, questions? Hearing none, clerk call the roll.
Alderman Kriete,
You want to come out of closed session,
Yeah.
Joel?
Figured I'd string you along a little bit.
Yes.
We're getting close.
Luna,
Yes.
Haderlein,
Yes.
Platt-Miller,
Yes.
Lavallee,
Yes.
Hoeflich,
Yes.
Lancaster.
Yes?
All ayes.
Motion adjourned.
Second.
All right, I have item number 17 is dispensed with since we don't have any action. I have a motion to adjourn by Perkins, second by Lancaster. Clerk call the roll.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
All right, thank you. This meeting is now closed.